Hi everyone! Happy Wednesday. I will wait just a couple minutes for everyone to kind of trickle in, but basically starting something new, and we're going to be doing every Wednesday, I guess, for next few weeks, going to be doing a special dietitian in the kitchen segment where basically I'm going to be kind of creating a 5-ingredient super easy meal that you can just kind of pull together with ingredients that you have, or if you do have to get them, they're usually pretty readily available ingredients. And so today I am making baked cod with asparagus and tomatoes, and then I'm going to serve it with some brown rice, but you can also cut the amount of brown rice with rice cauliflower as well. And everything all together is going to be less than 500 calories, probably like 450 to 500 calories, depending on if you add in the cauliflower to kind of cut the amount of rice, or if you just want to have all rice. And so basically I have my ingredients here, and again, 5 ingredients approximately. Salt and pepper, whatever oil you use, like those are kind of free ingredients. But basically I like to come up with 5 ingredient meals that basically are just kind of 5 main ingredients, and then you kind of have the salt and the pepper or whatever seasonings you like, because everyone likes different seasonings. I want to show you a few different seasonings that I personally like. But yeah, so basically what I have is I have my oven preheating to 375 degrees, and that is the temperature that I'm going to be cooking my fish at. Hi, Christina. And what I have is I have asparagus, so about a pound of asparagus here. And what I did was I cut off the ends. So you know, like the end of the asparagus, they kind of have like that rough end. You can just kind of chop off the ends, and then the rest of it should cook up and be a nice texture. And then I have tomatoes that I'm also going to add to my sheet pan. The tomatoes I'm using are these Campari tomatoes. They're a little bit bigger than a grape tomato, or they're actually a little bit even bigger than a cherry tomato as well. But they're awesome. Like these are really like sweet. I don't know. These tomatoes remind me of tomatoes in August in the Northeast. And for those of you that are not from the Northeast, baked cod, which is what I'm making, is a very popular dish in the Northeast. So I'm originally from Rhode Island and from that area, and so you know, I have these fond memories of every August is when the tomatoes are amazing. Like in Florida where I live, the tomatoes are pretty consistent, but for some reason in the Northeast, in Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New York, Connecticut, the tomatoes are just at their best in August. And so for some reason, these Campari tomatoes that I'm using just remind me so much of those peak of August, amazing Northeast tomatoes. And so I like to use these, but again, you can use whatever is available. You can use Campari tomatoes, you can use grape tomatoes, you can use the bigger beefsteak tomatoes and kind of cut them into slices, but these are just like the perfect size in my opinion. So that's what I'm using. These can be a little, if you can get these on sale, they can be a good price, but sometimes if they're more expensive, just go with whatever works for you. So yeah, so I got my tomatoes, I got my asparagus, and then I have my cod. You can't really see it. Cod loins. You can see it now. And with everything going on, I could not get fresh cod, but have no fear. I was able to get frozen, and frozen is just as nutritious as fresh. It is going to have the same nutrients. Basically, they took the fish and they froze it, and all the nutrients basically stay there. You just might not get the same amazing, delicious taste as you would with having a fresh fish. But hey, beggars can't be choosers right now, right? We're kind of trying to just deal with what we can find at the grocery store, and so I was actually really even excited to find these wild caught cod loins. There's actually another version of these that was just the regular Publix brand, and it wasn't the Greenwise brand, and it's totally fine too. These were probably $2 more expensive because they're Greenwise brand, but whatever you can get your hands on. Cod is usually, and again, I'm talking about cod because it's one of my favorite fish. I think being from the Northeast, it's just, you see it on all the menus there. It's just kind of like, it brings back memories to me, and I make it all the time. If you've heard of like Boston baked cod or whatever, it's a very Northeast thing. And so it's usually a very reasonably priced fish. Usually you can kind of get it for around the same price as what you would buy like chicken for, or salmon, or any of those particular items. So a lot of times it might be a little bit cheaper than getting like shrimp or scallops. But yeah, so I love cod. And again, if you cannot get your hands on fresh, which I could not get my hands on any fresh, they did not have it at Publix, then you can grab frozen and it's going to be just as nutritious. So I'm using this cod because I like it. I like it. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to tag Brenda Stage. Brenda Stage wanted me to tag, can I tag someone? If I like, I think if I do like at Brenda Stage, will it tag her? I told her I would tag her. And I don't know if it's gonna work. If someone could please tag Brenda Stage. I told her I was gonna tag her, and time got away from me and I got distracted and I forgot. But when I'm done, I'm gonna try to tag her after too. For some reason I can't figure out how to tag while I'm doing this. But anyways, because she was talking about how she has tilapia and asparagus that she wants to make, and she was planning on making it tonight. And so whatever fish you have, like I'm using cod again because it's just, to me, yay, perfect. Thank you for letting me know, Christina. For me, again, it's just like one of my favorites from up north, from where my home is. But you can use salmon, you can use tilapia, you can use haddock, you can use any fish you have. For the most part, they're all going to be able to be cooked at the same ingredient and the same time and give you the same results. Salmon's got a little bit more, it's a little bit more of a fatty fish, it's healthy fats, omega-3s, amazing. Cod is more of a white, flaky fish. A majority of the calories that are in cod are going to come from protein because it's only got like 1 gram of fat a serving and it's got no carbs. So this is like protein heavy fish right here, this white fish. Salmon's going to have, again, a little bit more fat. So you kind of can just cook accordingly. So as you're going to see with this cod, I'm going to actually add a little bit of fat because just to help kind of add some good mouthfeel and some good flavor to it. But honestly, like you could just spray it and it would honestly just be delicious. But I like to kind of, I like to live on the wild side, so that's how I'm going to do it. But anyways, so yeah, fresh, frozen fish, whatever you can get your hands on is fine. So I have my pan. This is going to be, everything's going to go in one pan. I am serving this with brown rice, which I cooked ahead of time. So this is already done because rice is, it can be inconsistent depending on how long. Yes, it is a great healthy dinner. And if you want to, which I'll repeat again at the end, you can take riced cauliflower and you can add to the brown rice to kind of cut the amount of carbs and calories if you're trying to do that. I'm really in the mood for just full on like brown rice tonight. And I get like jasmine brown rice, which I love. So that's what I'm gonna have. But you can totally cut the calories and cut the carbs by adding riced cauliflower as well. So, and this is easy. You just buy it frozen and it comes in this bag and cut the amount of rice with it. So yeah, so I have my sheet pan, and you can totally use foil and then spray the foil if you don't want to get your pan dirty. This is a newer pan, but I'm trying to be more green lately, I've been finding, with everything going on. I'm trying not to use as many paper towels and foil and things like that. So this pan could turn into a hot mess, but it's okay. It wasn't really that expensive. It was a cheap pan anyway. So you have a few options with the fats you're going to use. And I guess the dietitian in me just loves to kind of talk about the different types of fats. So I like avocado oil spray. And the reason why I like avocado oil spray is because it's got the same amount of calories as any of the other sprays that you're going to use per spray. Yes, thanks, Christina. But avocado oil spray, as well as, this is ghee. If you've ever heard of ghee or clarified butter, these have a higher smoke point. So if I was sauteing in a pan, and I have a stainless steel pan, so if I was going to saute in a stainless steel pan, I would want to use avocado oil or clarified butter, aka ghee, because these have a higher smoke point. So they're less likely to burn and smoke. Smoke point is exactly what it sounds like. They're less likely to burn and smoke versus canola oil, olive oil, if I'm cooking at high heat of 400 degrees or plus. 425 is usually the number that they throw out there. But in this case, I am baking in a pan at a 375 degree temperature in my oven. And so, hi Donna, thank you for watching. Hi Tanya, hi Hazley, hi Trinity. So yeah, if you're cooking, I just love to keep these around because like this is what I use as my main cooking spray because it's so versatile. And if I'm doing a saute in my stainless steel pans, so again, I'm trying to get away from like my non-stick pans were falling apart, so I switched to stainless steel. But you need a good high heat spray, and so I use avocado oil, and that's what I use for all my baking and all that stuff too. It's up to you, whatever you want to use. So then I have my ghee, of course, which I could use if I wanted, but in this situation, I'm going to use, and then also I love this Kerrygold's reduced fat, pure Irish butter. If you don't know about Kerrygold, if you've never tried Kerrygold, it's literally like the best butter ever. Like something about what they do to it, it just tastes amazing. It's the best tasting butter ever. So yeah, I might use Kerrygold sometimes if I'm making fish, but today I'm going to use olive oil. So I'm just going to use good old, I have this Italian olive oil. I'm Italian, in case you can't tell, I talk with my hands. My last name is Walsh because I'm half Irish and English as well. But yeah, I'm Italian, I'm Northeast Italian. So basically, yeah, we're going to take our pan and I'm going to spray it with the avocado oil. Again, a nice hearty spray because this is a new pan and I kind of want it to stay nice. And then I'm going to take my pan, I'm going to take my fish, my hands are clean, except for I touched my hair a couple times. Take my fish, I'm going to put it in here, and then I'm going to take my asparagus, which again, this is about a little bit less than a pound, and I just kind of snipped off the ends because the ends can kind of be a little rough. So you just kind of want to get those ends cut off, and you can save them, compost them, do whatever. Hi Alyssa! Thank you for joining. And I'm just going to add this into my pan. And you know, you can do it all like pretty and Pinteresty. You can kind of like lay it all in pretty arrangement. I'm kind of just going to spread it out accordingly so that way there's enough room for everything to cook nice. And then I have my tomatoes. And these tomatoes are going to cook down a little bit more than the asparagus because the asparagus is a little bit tougher to begin with, whereas the tomatoes are softer. But they come out really great, I promise. So I'm just going to add my tomatoes into my pan. And I'm going to put them face down because when you bake these, the skin of the tomato gets a really nice like caramelization on it. Super yummy. Super yummy. So yeah, I'm just kind of squeezing this all in there. Lots of color going on, lots of colorful antioxidants and nutrition going on in here. And then I'm going to add, I did my spray, but I'm also going to add a little bit of olive oil on top. What kind of tomato are you using? So I am using Campari tomatoes. And I love these Campari tomatoes because I was mentioning prior that they're they're bigger than cherry tomatoes, But you could totally use grape tomatoes. You could use cherry tomatoes. Would that pan make 2 meals or one? So I'm making for 2 right now. So this would be for 2. But obviously if you wanted to do, and this is about, I got 10 ounces, this frozen fish is about 10 ounces. And so if you wanted to serve like a family of 4, you probably want to do like 1.5 pounds, or about like 20 to 24 ounces of fish, or 2 of the packs of the frozen. But yeah, so the tomatoes are from Pare because I was mentioning, like, I just love these. These remind me of how the Northeast tomatoes taste in August. And I'm from the Northeast, so it's just, these are just really like, they taste like home to me. But you can totally use grape tomatoes, cherry tomatoes. You're gonna get all the same amazing nutrition from whatever tomato you use. So, but you want to use a smaller one. If you can use the bigger ones, but the smaller ones are gonna fit more nicely in the pan. So yeah, so my oven is preheated to 375, and I'm just gonna slide it in. And now I'm gonna set my time to 12 minutes. And I'm gonna do 12 minutes because I know my oven by now, and I know that that's usually like the amount of time that it takes to kind of cook it throughout. And then when I take it out of the oven, I'm gonna put it in the broiler. So after the time ends, I'm gonna put the broiler on for like 2 minutes just to kind of like finish up the cooking process. And so, as I mentioned, I have brown rice in here. And if you just joined recently, I was talking about you totally can take your brown rice and you can totally add riced cauliflower, this frozen cauliflower, which again, super low in carb, super low in calories. You can cut the amount of rice with cauliflower. So say if you wanted to make like 2 cups of rice and, you know, just serve like, you know, 2 or 3 people, but you wanted to have it be less carby, less starchy, less caloric, you could cut that amount of rice in half. So say like take a cup of rice, and then you could take a cup and a half of cauliflower rice, and you could add that into the brown rice and then season it however you normally do. And then you've basically got rice that's almost tastes exactly like brown rice, but it's bulkier, less caloric, less carby, because you've got this cauliflower rice. And again, you can buy this in the freezer section. They have it everywhere. This is from Sprouts, but you can get it at Publix, Walmart, everywhere. It's an awesome freezer, kitchen freezer staple. And so, basically, with my sheet pan dish I got going on, there's a lot of different ways that you can season this, and you can season it before or after. Again, being from the Northeast, I love Old Bay seasoning. Love it. If you are not familiar with it, it's just an amazing seafood seasoning that basically it's got like celery salt, salt and pepper. It's got paprika in there. It's just a great seasoning. Again, this is a very like Northeast seasoning, which I can put on before. I can put on during. Like I can take out my fish like halfway in the middle and add it however you want to do it. I could add garlic powder. Garlic powder is another great item to add to that, which everyone knows what garlic powder looks like. I don't know, like I'm trying to like show it like it's this unique item that no one's ever seen before. But yeah, garlic powder is great. For those of you, I don't want to be like super generic and basic, but don't make the mistake of using garlic salt the same way that you use garlic powder, because you're going to get a really salty meal if you were to mistake garlic salt for garlic powder. Only speaking from personal experience, like 10 years ago, I learned the hard way. Ruined an entire dish that I was making for like 5 people because I used garlic salt the same way that I would use garlic powder. So, don't want to make that mistake again. So yeah, and then what else? Parmesan cheese. You could totally put Parmesan cheese on the fish as well. Like there's just so many awesome, cool things that you can do with fish. And again, I've got my cod in the oven, but you can totally use, as we mentioned before, tilapia, haddock. There's just so many options. So, done that too. Yay! That butter is so good. I agree, Christina. I buy it all the time. Hi, Michelle. Yeah. So awesome. Yeah. So we have about 8 minutes or so left on our cod. It's coming along very nicely. I have my oven light on. And yeah, so I made the rice. The rice is all done. And so we're just kind of hang out and we wait. And it's like literally the easiest dish ever. I'm going to take it out in a couple minutes just to check on it because I'm one of those people that when I cook I have to like force myself to not keep opening the oven, but I'm going to do it anyway just to make sure that everything's kind of coming along nicely. But in the meantime, I wanted to talk about plate sizes because this is an important topic. And so I did a segment for Channel 10 Miami a couple days ago. It hasn't aired yet, but we were talking about kind of like stress eating and kind of how everyone's really worried about the quarantine 15 and things like that. And so, hey Hazley, love Old Bay. Yes, Christina, I think we're on the same page with this. We're on the same page with a lot of things, but we're also on the same page with this. But yeah, so we're talking a lot about like emotional eating and stress eating and portion control and things like that. And so it's just been a nonstop topic of interest, and I've been getting asked about it a lot. And so one of the things that I was talking about when I was doing this segment with Channel 10 Miami is that using smaller plate sizes, using smaller plates, serving dishes, etc., to help cut down on the amount of food that you're eating. Because let's face it, when you see a big giant plate, you're so much more likely to want to fill the plate. And it's one thing if you're filling it with green leafy vegetables, or a big old plate of cauliflower, a big old plate of broccoli, things like that. And then you're adding in your protein and your small serving of starch. But the problem lies, whereas if you're saying like you're putting on your pot, like filling up this plate with pasta and meatballs, or things like that, or like fattier dishes, higher calorie meals. So one of the things I talked about was using smaller plates and kind of just the portion that I'm gonna eat from this meal could totally fit on the asparagus is a little bit long, so it might not fit on this plate, but it would totally fit on this plate. And like this is a perfectly sized plate, but for some reason, just don't fill the small plate twice. Christina's right. I have put pasta in my plates forever. Yeah, but I mean, you totally, like, it all depends on like what your individual nutrition goals are, of course, and like what your individual philosophy is and your approach and what's working best for you. Because I know we talk about this a lot. Obviously, we have SlimFast Keto, we have SlimFast, regular. We've got the regular, meaning like this regular SlimFast group right here. We've got the SlimFast Advanced products, which are lower carb, higher protein. We've got the SlimFast Keto products, which are higher fat, lower carb, moderate protein. We've got the SlimFast Diabetic, which has a nice blend of carbs and protein and fat. That's really a nice addition to someone if they are they need to still take in a consistent amount of carbs, but they don't want to overdo it. So we've got different strokes for different folks. But it all depends on, what works best for you. And so if you are someone like I like my pasta. Like I think I've talked about this before, but I eat a lowish carb diet. at the end of the day. I might not always do strict keto, but I eat like a lower carb diet, but I love certain carby foods. Like I'm having rice tonight. I had pasta a couple nights ago, and it all comes down to portion control. And you can usually make things fit, again, with the exception of keto when you're trying to not, break ketosis. But depending on which approach works for you, a lot of times we can just kind of focus on portion control and kind of really get far with that, which is awesome. So I have 3 minutes left to my fish before I put it under the broiler. And, this is another example. So I have these peppers, which these aren't a part of my dish tonight. There's something else I was making. But this is a great little example. I think I showed these before, but these little ramekin cups, this is like 8 ounces. And these are just great for I've been having I've been having ice cream in these at night. I really like that, the enlightened ice cream or the halo top ice cream. I'm having that with some whipped cream, and it's just when I have this versus ice cream in a bowl, I just feel okay, this is a true serving of ice cream. It's not drowned out in this big giant bowl. So let me see what else. We got a couple more minutes for this fish. I like to make a bigger portion of my meal so I have leftovers. Yes, that's amazing. Yes, Deborah. Yes, Christina. I agree. And especially, I don't know if it's just everything that's been going on, but I've been so much better about saving my leftovers. In the past, I might have kind of just made something and kind of just let it, got distracted, or I was craving something else the next day, so I made something and I had the best intentions of eating whatever food I made the night before, but I didn't. And so I've been freezing my leftovers, just because why not? I mean, you totally can freeze almost anything, and you can go on and you can have a nice meal in a couple days from now, or a week from now, or a month from now. So yeah, freezing is amazing, and I actually plan to talk more about that in detail, I believe on Friday. I believe it's on this topic for Friday. So yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. All right, my fish is almost done. It's got 45 seconds, and then I'm gonna switch it over to the broiler. I'm gonna take it out, I'm gonna top it with some olive oil, and then I'm gonna season it with a little bit of salt and pepper. Ooh, where did I put my salt and pepper? Oh, here it is. I'm gonna season it with salt and pepper, and then I'm gonna put it under the broiler for about 2 minutes, and then it's gonna be all done and all set to plate up. I'm having the SlimFast recipe of the sloppy joes or leftovers. I just had to make fresh cauliflower rice. Oh, love it. Yes, you can make fresh cauliflower rice. That's awesome. I've done it a couple times. I like the frozen, but it's just, it all depends on what it's, sometimes I'm just lazy when it comes to making things, and having the frozen is just super easy. Ice cream servings are tiny. They are. They absolutely are. So what I'm doing right now is I'm switching over to the broiler, and I'm starting it, and so that's going to heat up. Dog toy. And then I'm just going to season up my, oh, here she comes. For those of you that haven't been watching with me over the past, 6 weeks or so, my little dog, she usually is pretty rambunctious, but she's pretty calm today. I'm just drizzling some olive oil, and then I'm going to add some salt and pepper. It's going to be delicious. Again, five-ish ingredients, little things like salt and pepper. I kind of think everyone's kind of got their own style of how much they like, how much they don't like. So I'm going to put Old Bay on this. And then we're going to stick this baby under the broiler, and then we've got 2 minutes left, and it'll be good. Okay. And I usually would use an oven mitt, but it was out of reach, so that's why I use like a towel. Thankfully the pan wasn't too big. But yeah, BillyBobSlimFast.com has some delicious recipes. Oh, she's talking to Billy Bob. Oh, Billy Bob, hello, welcome. Where are the recipes? Yes, SlimFast.com does have some amazing, amazing recipes. Oh, Deb, I don't know, Deborah, you're saying you can't cook, but you're the one who's making cauliflower rice from scratch. So I think you can cook. Let's see. Want to say hi, Cannoli? Say hi. While we wait for her. Cannoli will not be eating the fish, but she's involved in the cooking process. So, oh, someone's walking by. Here's someone. She's gonna bark. No. Awesome. So let me see. Yum. That is looking amazing. So I'm gonna use my square plate. And like this plate, I think is from Target. Oh, Pier 1. Pier 1, you can get really basic plates there. A lot of times I'll go to like the clearance section and just kind of see like they'll have like one-off items of just like, you know, they maybe the set sold out, but they had like one extra random one, and I'll just I like white dishes, so they all end up matching. So, let's see. She can cook and bake too. Yep. They say man's best friend. She is totally girl's best friend. She's always here. Everything I do. Everything I do. All right. Awesome. So, we're done. Broiler is all set. Yum. And so, I don't know if you can see this. Let me grab my mitt. I'll plate it up. But we have a delicious baked cod and tomato and asparagus meal, and I'm gonna plate it up, and then I'm gonna say bye-bye because I've already been taking way too long. So yeah, basically I just have my fish. Got some tomatoes. These are nice and soft, and oh my gosh, they're so good. These are so, so good. And then I've got some asparagus. And I'm gonna come back for more asparagus after. But yeah, so you've got a delicious, easy meal that had I not been blabbering, it would have taken probably 20 minutes total. And yeah, super, super easy. So, I just touched the hot pan. Yeah, I'm drooling. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to eat my delicious meal. Again, I'm going to definitely put more asparagus on here because I want more asparagus. Yeah, so hopefully I'll be back next week. Well, I will be back next week, next Wednesday, with another 5-ingredient meal that hopefully is that you enjoy watching just as much. And thank you so much. And I will see you guys Friday, where I'm going to be talking, doing like a Friday night nutrition talk. And then Monday I'll be back doing my at-home workout of the week. So thank you so much for watching. Bye, everyone.